Hello and welcome to the MS500 course. My name is John Christopher and I'll be talking to you a little bit about what this course is all about. So one thing I want to clarify right out of the gates on this course is one thing that's very important to me as an instructor is I don't want this to be a course that is death by PowerPoints. I know that's kind of funny considering I've got PowerPoint up on the screen right now, but I'm going to do a lot of lecture and tons of hands-on in this course with you guys. You're going to get a lot of demonstrations done by me. I'm also going to be providing you with hands-on tutorials for you to try out yourself. So you're going to get a lot of experience working through this with me. You're going to get the concepts explained to you, and hopefully you're going to find this is not going to be death by PowerPoint, which is what a lot of the stuff out there I find ends up being. First off, this exam, the MS500 exam, one thing that a lot of people don't realize about it is it's unique in that now there are hands-on labs that you actually have to do on it. The MS500 exam is not just a multiple choice drag and drop based exam anymore. So you actually have to understand not just the concepts but also how to actually perform and implement the different features of the Microsoft 365 environment. Microsoft has been going this route just recently over the last year, couple years, depending upon what exams you're talking about, and it's very important that you actually have that hands-on experience to back yourselves up. Okay, so one of the things I'll point out right here on the screen is you can see where it says the skills that are being measured. Notice the word implement. This is right off Microsoft's website for the MS500 exam. So you actually are going to have some hands-on activities you got to perform, and my goal is to try to prepare you for that. Okay, the certification itself, the MS500, is a standalone exam that gives you a certification right out of the gate. So one of the great things about passing this exam is you're automatically going to be getting a certification. The Microsoft 365 Certified Security Administrator Associate certification. And one thing's for certain about the IT field, you can never have enough security certifications. That's one area of IT that's always going to be around, and as a lot of you guys are probably aware, the cloud is the big thing. Microsoft is putting so much time, effort, and energy into their cloud, and this is definitely where they're going with their certifications. The on-prem stuff is important, I'm not saying it's not, but the cloud certifications, the whole cloud world itself is a very sought after thing these days with companies, and a lot of organizations are going that way, including the military, for example. Now I want to talk a little bit about the topics that we're going to go through in the course. So we're going to be looking at creating and managing user identities in Microsoft 365. So you're going to get into creating and managing user accounts. I'm going to explain the concepts of accounts and identities, how all that fits into the big picture. We're going to do hands-on with all of that. We're going to talk about controlling groups as well, the different kinds of groups we have in our Microsoft 365 Azure environment. We're also going to go over password expiration and management, and get a feel for how those policies differ based in the cloud versus the way they did on-prem. I'm going to talk about both of those. We're also going to learn how to configure those and do some hands-on with that. Same thing with the password lockout. Talk about how the lockout policy works, how to implement it, how it all works with on-prem versus the cloud. Role-based access control, RBAC. The big access control method that Microsoft now uses in all of their different environments, Azure, the cloud, as well as it was a method that we sort of used on-prem, even though it was a little bit more geared towards groups in those days. Now you're going to find that role-based access control takes things to a new level in terms of actually giving control. And this also gets us into privileged identity management as well, also known as PIM, which is a just-in-time based a system for giving rights to people when they need it immediately and then taking those rights away when they don't need it. We're also going to talk about MFA. If you've been in the industry very long, you probably noticed this is one of the buzz terms that they talk about because we have to protect our identities from hackers getting access to our passwords or whatever. So one of the best ways to do that is to not just use passwords, to actually use multi-factor authentication, which gets into the something you know, something you have, something you are, and then mixing those things together. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to learn how to implement that and manage it. So we've also got SSPR, which is the self-service password reset control. This is a feature that allows users to actually change their own passwords, reset their own passwords. This is turned off by default, but you can turn it on and it can really help make things a lot easier in your IT environment. We're also going to talk about Azure AD Identity Protection, which is another set of policies that can control and detect if someone is trying to log on that shouldn't. So in other words, you've got a user who's logging on right here in, let's say, New York, and then all of a sudden somebody is logging on over in Los Angeles into that person's account. There's obviously something suspicious going on here. Azure can actually block that person, not let that person get in, or it can force MFA to take effect, multi-factor authentication, it can force a password reset. So there's a few things you can do there, and basically Azure is going to monitor that for you and prevent that from happening while it's happening in a lot of cases. So conditional access policies will be the next topic. This is going to get into controlling access to our resources, our application, who gets in, when they get in, why they get in, and how they get in. Okay, we're going to talk about cloud apps and all of that in regards to conditional access policies, and we'll learn how to configure those as well as get some hands-on with it. We've also got AIP, Azure Information Protection. This is going to be a great way for us to monitor our documents, our data in our environment, and make sure that we have no sensitive information that's making its way from the inside world to the outside world that shouldn't. We want to make sure that only authorized people can utilize sensitive information. We also have DLP. Now, you're going to find data loss prevention complements AIP, so the two actually work together. There's also another topic we'll be looking at known as rights management, which is also going to be dealing with the encryption and protecting our data. So data governance is a big topic that we're going to spend a lot of time on. You're going to get a lot of hands-on experience, and this is definitely going to be something that you're going to want to have some experience with for the exam. Another topic is ATP, Advanced Threat Protection. This is a really great set of tools that Microsoft has provided us with in the cloud that allows us to do things like monitoring our emails, looking for safe attachments, looking for safe links, making sure that the things that are being interacted with in our environments, in our documents, our email, all of that is actually safe for a user. You're going to learn about how when you execute something, say in an email through Exchange Online, it actually runs it inside of a container that tests to make sure that the attachment or the link is safe. Very interesting concept. It's an extremely powerful concept. We're going to learn how to use that, and we're going to go through the process of setting it up. Another topic is e-discovery. So in this world we live in, sometimes as IT people, we have to actually be able to collect evidence. Microsoft provides us e-discovery tools that are going to help us find certain pieces of information in our environment and use that as evidence if we needed to. And then one of our last topics will be Microsoft Intune. Intune is Microsoft's MDM, MAM platform. That's mobile device management, mobile application management. We're going to learn how to configure that. We're going to learn how to set policies and learn about how those can be associated with smartphones, tablets, as well as our desktops, laptops. We're also going to talk about how it can be co-managed with SCCM, System Center Configuration Manager, if you're familiar with that. Okay, so I've already mentioned this numerous times. A big part of this class is the hands-on side of things. We're going to be really getting down and dirty, playing around with Microsoft 365 and Azure. We'll be jumping around the different screens and taking advantage of the console and the hands-on that's to be had with it. As well as, not only will I be providing demonstrations, instructor-led demonstrations for everything, and you guys can do those with me if you want. We'll talk about how you can create a free account. But even if you don't have a free account, I've got practice tutorials that are available to you that you can try out 24/7. I'm really proud of these. I've not seen any instructors implement anything like this before. These are available to you whether you have a Microsoft 365 account or not. It's going to go through just about every single activity we do in class, and you guys can do these anytime you want. You don't even have to have a Microsoft 365 account. So again, definitely something you guys can take advantage of. I think you're going to really like these and get something out of it. All right, all in all, I hope you guys will join me on this adventure of the MS500. I look forward to helping you guys. I would love it if you would get in touch with me if you notice if there's something that's out of date One of the things you're going to find is Microsoft is constantly changing things. So I'm going to try my darndest to keep my course up to date. If you notice things are out of date, please get in touch with me. I'd rather you do that than leave a bad comment. Get in touch with me and let me try to solve the problem, okay? I'm definitely going to try to keep things updated, but I would love it for you guys to communicate with me.